and the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under it. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Flown lesson.
Young TV.
All I know is notice the agent is notice the principal. Tribal responsibility is to put it in the public domain. The public domain is recognized in law as a timestamp archivable format. All social media platforms are admissible as public domain information because the reach extends beyond 1,000 people. So notice the agent being notice the principal. That means notice the principal is also notice the agent. All these motherfuckers is on notice. They all on borrowed time. We watching this shit fold in front of their face, not like they did us, behind our back in front of our face. They did everything in secret to control us in the public. We doing everything in the public to destroy their secrets. Let that sink in. They do everything in the secret to control us in the public. We doing everything in the public to expose their secrets. Ain't no more secret squirrel shit. Adam Ant is on the job, and ain't no more secret squirrel shit. You can call him underdog if you want to, but hate it or love it, the underdog on top. And we gonna shine, baby, until this U.S. corporation drop. Go ahead, envy me. I'm Raps PBG, Platinum Back Gorilla in this motherfucker. I'm telling y'all, look, the worst thing you can do is be an independent thinker. A person that understands how to follow the spiritual path you came here to follow. A lot of people don't know how to follow the path because they become indoctrinated with the three-dimensional artificial constructs. And they are all created to keep you from ever coming to the realization of who you are and what you're capable of doing. I just wanted to see if I could put a comment in there because I ain't seen a comment yet. So, if anybody got any questions, how long I've been on here? 45 minutes. So, anybody got any questions, send me a request, and I'm going to start pulling people up. I'm going to take about 15 minutes of, I know it's going to go longer than 15 minutes. Okay, so we coming up on 50 minutes. So I'm gonna do about 30 minutes of Q&A if y'all can even come in. Let's see, Christina, where my baby at? Christina, where is Mary? I don't know if it's gonna add you in. I don't know if it's gonna let me add anybody or not. I could be shadow banned, but I know I wanted to see Christina anyway. So see how Mary and the boys and the rest of them doing. They letting you in, Christina? Don't look like it. Oh, it say adding. It say adding. They might let her in. This Christina Vargas, the Gold Eye Oracle. Y'all don't even know about that. The Gold Eye Oracle see shit before it happened. They can see down the timeline and they get glimpses. I seen her eyes turn gold, and I was like, "You one of them." Yeah, I don't know. It say adding, and it ain't letting her in though. Okay, it says she didn't answer, but I know that ain't what happened. I'm gonna see. Hey, Lazarus, Lemel, you want to come up? Where you go? It's not. Oh, this is crazy. The teacher him and we try to invite you on camera just to see if they're gonna let you up. Anyway, so I'm gonna make a post about jurisdiction, and I already copied everything that I wanted to share in jurisdiction, but it's on this phone. But I'm gonna share it. It's gonna be on my Instagram and on my Facebook. If you want to understand a little bit about jurisdiction, because it's way more exhaustive than that, that's just uh, the foundation for the research. Yeah, so it didn't let her up either. So they're not letting me put nobody on camera. So I might go out, come back in, and try to see if they let me invite people. But I've been shadow banned so long on Instagram. I can't do lives over there on Instagram, and so I got to do them over here. And they don't show up on Instagram when I do them over here. But my Instagram lives used to have the option to come over here, but my Facebook live don't have the option to share to Instagram, right? So I ain't gonna hold y'all, but remember, the tribes have territorial jurisdiction grandfathered in before 1492. And the grandfather clause allows us to activate the grandmother clause. The grandmother clause, according to the tribes, is the right for the tribal mothers to allocate who belong where on the land. By trial and error, they send them to different places. Now, because the corporation just forced people together, you have all of this divide and conquer stuff going on. You have the racism, the sexism, the gender confusion, the cross dressing, All of it is literally being done on purpose as tools of divide and conquer. When you take an infant baby that's being born, you can teach that baby to be anything. You can teach that baby to be anything, and they can be good at it because they've been taught from birth. Or if you teach a boy child from birth that he a girl, he's gonna behave feminine. And some of them, when they hit puberty, their testosterone, if they ain't been molested, gonna make them say, "Hey, wait a minute, I don't like no dudes like that." But some of them, especially the real lover boy babies, them the ones that is easiest to trick into thinking that they are in the wrong body and all that bullshit. But you shouldn't be talking to children about sexual identity until they start asking the questions. Unless you see them doing something that leads you to believe somebody touching on them, none of this gender sex shit should even come up before they start getting close to a teen, 8, 9, 10 years old. Because before that, all the boy want to do is go climb a tree. And my father say, piss up a tree, sit down a stump. That's it. He want to be a boy. He want to run, and run all that energy off until he learn how to control it. But no, they rather dope him up. Tell you they got ADHD. They can't control themselves. They out of control. They fucking boys. They supposed to be out of control, but they not supposed to be trapped in your Skinner box. They not supposed to have to wait for your Pavlovian response bell to go off to tell them what move to make next. But you put them in these environments that's antithesis to their nature, and then you wonder why they not acting like their nature. They are being you raising a lion with dogs. You raising eagles with chickens. And when the eagles start doing eagle shit, then you shoot that motherfucker down so he don't remind the other eagles they're eagles. That's called COINTELPRO. That's called Rex 84, Readiness Exercise 1984, aka the Lord Alfred Plan. Right? All that shit there. But if you don't know what they doing, they just gonna keep playing in your face. So I've been telling y'all for 5 years, every step of the way, what they've been doing. Now they come out and tell y'all about the fraud in the poison in the Jabberwocky. I did that video. If you type in Rod Hayes Corona video, it'll come up. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull it up and share it for the ones who haven't seen it yet to have access to it. But I got a long written description at the beginning of it about what a corona is and all of this stuff. But I was telling y'all that was 5 years ago. That was 2019 going into 2020. Don't fall for it. It's a trap. It's the same thing they did with the bird flu, the swine flu, the smallpox epidemic. It's the same. The MO didn't change. Chemical, biological, or biochemical warfare is what it's called. Biochemical warfare. And they've been using it on us since they came. It's in the history books. Why would they stop doing it now when they got more mental control over us than they ever had? In the 50s and the 60s, they didn't have this kind of stronghold on our psyche. They had the don't go across the tracks stronghold, but they ain't had I'm an African stronghold and I'm gonna do what Master say. They didn't have that stronghold. Niggas stopped being rebellious after the civil rights nonviolent protests. They should have kept that shit Malcolm X, but we had to educate ourselves about the condition. That's why Elijah didn't allow the FOI to take these motherfuckers to bloody warfare. But we don't know this though. Collectively, we don't know this, but it's instrumental to know because then you understand your ancestors never laid down and kissed nobody ass. Well, most of y'all ancestors didn't. Some of y'all ancestors were showing up some bootlicking ass kickers, some Jayhawks. I just try to tell it the way it is. All our ancestors wasn't the top of the food chain, and the ones that cooperated, I don't even know what to say about them. Shit. So catch me tomorrow on the Young Elder channel, and y'all gotta understand, we've been here so long, we built here. It wasn't no here till we built it. We was Atlantis. The Great Atlant is what it was really called. Atlantis is the Greek rendition of the Great Atlant. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth tell you that he left from over here and went over there in a ship that flew, not floated. So ain't none of this stuff new. Vimana Sutras show you that there was flying crafts all the time on Earth. It ain't new. They just got rid of the blimps in order to make room for modern aeronautics. Modern aeronautics is based off ancient principles of aviation. That's how they knew how to do it. They told us they discovered King Tut's over there in Egypt. There's only one problem with that. He was buried in the Grand Canyon. He's buried in the Grand Canyon. He wasn't buried in what you call Kemet, Egypt over there. He wasn't buried over there. He wasn't in the Valley of the Kings. He was buried in Arizona. And you don't believe me when Tupac come back asking, where they bury you at last time? I was buried in Arizona. Go back to the interview. T. Rogers is telling you that he told him he was going out on his own land. He wasn't going out on no foreign land. Everything west of the Rocky Mountains, Tupac Amaru. Everything between the Appalachians and the Rocky Mountains. Chiefs called me to settle that shit. Louisiana Purchase shit. Louisiana Purchase was the first. It had nothing to do with the right to colonize. The agreement, the Louisiana Purchase, was a protectorate agreement. That means that if we don't put together our own Mississippian military back together, they were supposed to protect us from the from the Spanish and the English. What they do, they literally sold us to the English, literally, under the pretense of selling the Port of New Orleans and the protectorate rights of the Louisiana territory that spanned from the Gulf of America all the way into what they call Canada today. This is why Trump talking about recovering Canada. We don't know history because they taught us a semblance of history, right? So we didn't know that the Louisiana Purchase also included Canada. What languages do they speak in Canada? They only speak two, English and French. Other than the tribes, you got tribes up there, Inuits in Alaska. You got Inuit tribal mixes throughout the Canadian territories that speak their tribal tongue. But Western tongues, they only got two main Western tongues. Well, they got a lot of Spanish people starting to import there. So now you got three primary major tongues. This is the Louisiana territory. Canada was part of the Louisiana Purchase, the protectorate of Canada. Canada don't got no army. If somebody come and fuck the Canadians up right now, the only thing gonna stop them is the lower 50 gonna roll out on their ass, and they already know it. They don't need no army. All they got is some goddamn mounted police riding around with some batons like they in England. Now they started to arm them in the last 50 years or so, but they used to didn't even have the right to, they couldn't carry guns. Only the hostile territory. Hostile territories fit is the continental states, or the 48 states. In Alaska and Hawaii, they annexed Hawaii. They didn't even ask them people. That's fraud. You can't impose your jurisdiction and take away somebody else's tribal jurisdictional rights. And don't expect for us to figure out what you did. Once we figure it out, it's about putting it in the public domain, coming up with a comprehensive description for enough members of enough tribes to know one of these chiefs got it right, and this is what we need to be paying attention to. These is the receipts, right? I can tell the story or I can teach the class. When the chief with the chief, I'm just telling the story. But I do got the receipts. I can show you everything I'm talking about. And most of us are blind to the fact that we are occupied territory of a foreign body politic masquerading as our corporate government. The corporation is a subsidiary of the Crown of England, not the tribes. You got to understand how jurisdiction works, territorial rights. We have territorial rights, right? We got a right to change any kind of governing system on the land that's no longer compatible with the nature of the tribes. We can change that shit. We don't gotta ask permission. We just gotta come to a consensus among ourselves that enough is a goddamn enough. But it's too many of us with our nose in the air, and we too entitled to do some stuff called strategic thinking, right? Understanding the military invasion that was imposed upon us and how we end up subjugated by the invader and what we must do in order to overcome the invasion. If we don't put this stuff together, then we're going to be left out in the dark, because it take all of us, it take all the tribes to be aware. And then every tribe gotta organize within their own tribe. What do we do with this information now that we got it? Now that we know that everything in DC has been a 100% fraud, what do we do? Each tribe's responsibility is to discuss among themselves what they do, pick their champion, and all of the champions of all of the tribes gonna stand in solidarity, and we gonna have a tribal convention to resume matriarchal order and the great law. That's it. We don't gotta do nothing else. First, we gotta come to an agreement among ourselves that the information is available. The babies got it now. They go put this shit together because Rod Hayes telling them how all of it go. And when they put it together, when we get our old ass out their way, because we done had our day in the sun, it's their turn now. It's their turn to organize and raise hell. It's not our turn now. We missed our turn. We was too busy hanging out on street corners wearing fat gold ropes, bumping booming systems. When our turn was here, we was too busy trying to get the bag when it was our time. The bag don't get the land. The bag can get a piece of land. But to get the totality of the land, we had to follow the oral tradition of the tribes. They created the paperwork. So if we write, they have to surrender the foundational document of which the fraud has exposed. What they call a loyal title coming out of Europe was in the hands of the Rothschilds. They surrendered it already. I don't care if it ain't written right. I don't care if the T's and the I's ain't dotted. It's still their foundational document that they surrendered. When the Pope was ordered to rescind the discovery doctrine, he did some shit to tell you that he don't support that bullshit no more, and that the tribes need to govern their own self. When Pico put him on notice. She told everybody, the chiefs across the land has been selected. Govern yourselves accordingly. The chiefs across the land have been selected. Govern yourselves accordingly. It's not just me. You looking at social media and you seeing other organic original people in their field of understanding. I done named them 1,000 times and I can name them 1,000 more. The ones that's behind the scenes that had to be took out the forefront because they was cheating in the game. The ones that's out in the forefront right now that you think that they just talking, they just babbling. Then you got the fraudsters in the conscious community. I can tell you all them some bitches is too. All of this stuff. So if they got you to believe you from somewhere else, you will not assert verbally out your mouth in the public domain, I'm exercising my tribal right to reclaim my ancestral lands on behalf of my ancestors and my current existing breathing kindred. Once they understand that part, once we understand that part, it's over with for their ass. It's over with it. We keeping them in power because we want to vote. Voting was all right 50 years ago. That shit don't apply no more. What you voting for? You voting for a slave master? What you want a different slave master? What you voting for? The vote is what legitimizes the bullshit. We didn't know that when we decided to participate in the vote. We thought the vote was a way to give us collective power. That was a trick the whole time. We were never supposed to be in their polls. How do you get a guy to do something? Tell him he can't fucking do it. Nigga, you can't vote. Watch me. Watch me. I'm gonna vote. I'm dropping me a ballot. Tell me I can't fucking vote. You wasn't not supposed to be voting because it had nothing to do with you. 13 colonies that had nothing to do with the tribes. That was all some European shit to exile some undesirables. It just so happened that a lot of the motherfuckers that was doing the exiling and being exiled look like us, but they ain't us. Temperament is different. Character is different. Belief system is different. The way they move and operate is different. And you see them, but because they got chocolate brown to caramel brown skin and kinky to curly hair, you thinking that's your brother man. That's the other man. But they got us believing that the pale face is the enemy, and all the pale face needed was a drop of blood and the right to sin, and he was going to fight for whoever he got the drop of blood from. So then they brought him over here, put him over the family farm as managers, right? But the nigga that was running the plantation that Samuel L. Jackson played in Django? Yeah, was that Samuel L.? Yeah. Uncle Sam from the Super Bowl. That nigga was the one who poisoned Big Mama and took over the big house. Took her name off the house. Took her name off the deed. Took her name off the deed. And then he applied a mortgage. Then the mortgage became known as a sharecropper agreement. A debt pledge. A mortgage means a debt pledge, a debt oath, right? A death oath. The death oath was the oath to kill Big Mama so you can take her name off the property so that you could sell it because we don't believe in selling land. They told us the family farm was the plantation. That's why Harriet Tubman couldn't get people to leave their family farm because their ancestors been there for so long. Bitch, you're not getting me to leave here. Where the fuck is you anyway? Oh, made up ass character. Right? But they want to give her credit for being an abolitionist. Look, if you go and you do your research on Nat Turner, some serious research. I love the character Nat Turner, by the way. Don't get me wrong. Nat Turner is a code for Henry McNeil Turner, rightful heir to make agreements with them people. And it was his heir, Empress Verdiosity, related to him. We related to him out of Mississippi. The Alabama Tuscaloosa Indians is related to him. The Washita, D-Dunk, the mound builders. That's all of us. The Mississippians, the Alabama Indians, the Tuscaloosa Indians, the Arkansas Razorback Indians. Y'all don't even know a lot of these mascots. They was tribes or references that somebody gave the tribe, but with exonyms. But they talking about a group of people, and they putting the mascot on the territory to show you where these people supposed to be at. The Brown family, the one of the largest clans on the land, last name Brown, old Mississippian clan, old Alabama clan, old Arkansas clan, old Georgia clan, Browns. They the biggest clan, one of the biggest clans in the whole entire United States. And they Cleveland Indians. They fucking Cleveland Indians. Cleveland is a play on the word cleaver, which was the reference to a tomahawk. The Brown family is Cleveland Indians. The Ohio territory of the Midwest going into Indiana, going into Tennessee and Kentucky. That's where they naturally, organically from. The Brown family, right? Some of us, Big Mama stayed in Mississippi when her children was going to settle that territory. So you got a direct line from Mississippi all the way up into what they call the Northwest Territory in the Tennessee, Kentucky, in Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, and all the way going into Louisiana. The Browns, that's one of the biggest fucking clans on the land. If you look into any of the old phone books and the last name Brown and you keep flipping page after page, that's a whole fucking clan. They don't all just share the last name as a recreational activity. Like they didn't have nothing to do but look and say, oh, my skin copper brown, so I'm going to be a Brown. That's not how that worked. The foreigners called them the Browns because they was brown skinned. And they showed you in the Cleveland Indian football original picture what they looked it like. I'm just telling you, right? You got another clan. Look, you got a last name, Upshaw. That's the Upper Shoshone clan. And then you have the last name Shaw. The last name Shaw is Shoshone. They don't tell us this because we've been paper genocided. They deliberately changed how we wrote our names. They come from the Shoshone River region, a branch of the Mississippi. Go look that shit up. Don't believe me. All of the information there. We got mounds to commemorate all of these people I'm talking about. Right? The Taylor clan came from New Orleans. That guy they call used to be what's they call him? Dapper Dan. Dapper Dan he might have a different name, but his bloodline traced back to the Taylors out of Louisiana. What did they do? They made tribal regalia. They invented denim jeans because they didn't want us wearing sackcloth for jeans. They created denim. The Levi Strauss Company is the company. The last name Levi is a invader's last name. They Jews. The tribe of Levi. If you go into the law, it's not called Levi, it's called Levy. To levy a lien. And the Levi Strauss Company learned from the tailors how to sew the denim because you needed a special sewing machine back then to sew denim because the denim ain't that shit we wearing now. It took you damn near a year to break them motherfuckers in, and you had to wear them damn near every day and wash them at least every other day. You be able to do so much. They was damn near bulletproof just being cotton denim, original denim. They still got old ass Levi Strauss jeans in museums, and they look damn near new. They got that from New Orleans. New Orleans used to dress the cowboys. Back then, they didn't call them cowboys. That's a settler's term to diminish the manhood of the cattle hands. They start calling pale faces cattle hands, and they start calling our cattle rustlers, which actually started off as tribes that lived with the bison, tribes that lived with the elk, right? Tribes that lived with the reindeer. Those were who became the ranchers of the bovine beef that was being brought over here from the settlers. I mean, shit. This shit is all in front of our face, but it's hidden in plain sight. Because we so used to seeing what we seeing, and them telling us we don't see what we see, we begin to make the misconnection of the thing that we think we see to the thing they told us we looking at. What? No goddamn cows over here in 1491. We ain't need no cows. We didn't need no cattle ranches. We used to harvest bison as needed, not in mass. They came over here and started harvesting them in mass because we was using them as war cover, right? And the Flintstones. Flintstone Indians go trace right back here to Michigan to the city of Flint. The Flintstones, I know them dudes. I sat with Flintstone. I sat with the Saginaw Indians. We was locked up together with their chiefs. And they know who the fuck I am. Soaring Eagle Casino. A usurper came in and tried to usurp us. You know what we did? Start marrying their daughters. They ain't like that shit up in Battle Creek. They try to tell us, I'm not going to that. That's dogmatic bullshit. But it's called Battle Creek for a reason, right? Just like the Rouge River is known as the Red River because Rouge means red in French, and Dortois. Dortois is Detroit. In the Detroit territory, the French was fighting Chief Pontiac, whose bullshit I inherited. Whether I like it or don't like it. You know, got nothing to do with what we like. Everybody wants shit that they like. I don't like that. I don't eat that because I don't let your ass start starving. You're gonna eat a pig, a cow, a horse. It don't matter. Let your ass get to starving and somebody cooking something and it smell good enough. You're gonna eat that shit. You ain't your belly ain't touched your back yet. Yep. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna go up here and rustle me up some victuals. That's what I said. Rustle me up some victuals. And we're gonna conclude this until a different time. Peace and hair grease to all the beasts from the Middle East, whatever the fuck that's at. Middle East. Where's the Middle West? Can somebody tell me where the Middle South at? How about Middle North? So how the fuck we get in the Middle East? Crazy. All right, peeps. I'm gonna talk to y'all later. I'll be on Young Elder tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure the time. It's gonna be like 8 or 9. I think me and Elder might be in different time zones, so I can't give y'all one or the other, but it'll be somewhere in there. And Tomorrow is going down because we're coming with some receipts to give y'all understanding of what is taking place over the last 500 years and coming up to the finale of where we at. Like we right at the precipice of the breakthrough and the crumbling of the fraud system and the restoration of the tribes. And as tribal members, we are equally responsible to know who our leadership is and that bring the leadership up to speed on everything we doing. If you got a chief, your chief need to know that we've been using the tribal oral tradition to reclaim what's rightfully ours by putting it in the public domain in a time-stamped archivable format with the understanding that the notice to agent is notice to principal, and once it's in the public domain, they cannot say they were not notified because the public records say, yes, you was notified on this day at this time. We close out all of their contracts, and now we closing down all of their operations. We about to be in martial law. Be aware. Don't get in the people way. They coming to get the people that don't belong here. All of them, what they call administrative law judges, has been masquerading as judges, giving people basketball scores and sending them to prison for economic gain that they ain't telling y'all they getting behind the scenes. Yep, they coming for them. All of them prosecutorial, those prosecutors and those defense attorneys who was working together the whole time in an old mutton Jeff good cop bad cop routine in front of they bar member brother called the judiciary, the biased fiduciary who's supposed to be unbiased because they all members of the bar. And as a member of the bar, your first duty is to uphold the integrity of the bar, even at the expense of your client. Y'all don't know what y'all dealing with. A lot of people want to know how to fight this shit in their courts. You really don't have a win because it's their courts, not our courts. But when the tribal courts is Kimberly, hey girl, I miss you. That was one of my coworkers, y'all. Just popped in. Hey, that boy getting big. I seen his pictures on your profile too. Just to let you know. I don't know if you can if you comment because I think they Facebook turned my comments off. But anyway, so what we about to see is martial law. A lot of these people that believe they law enforcement are enemy combatants to the collective people of the United States. They declared that we, the tribes, was the enemy, and anybody that is in agreement with the tribes is guilty by association. So even if you don't want to be an enemy of the state, but you believe in doing what's right, you the enemy too. And they use the money system to wage war on us, the financial system, right? Let me see if I got this in here where it say that it literally say that the people of the United States are enemies, are they enemies? Give me 1 second, because I know I got it. You know, I love to keep receipts. And I know it's posted in my let's see it. It might be on this phone. I didn't never believe for the life of me that I would be the one telling y'all all of these secrets that they kept from us. And here I am telling you all of their secrets and all of this stuff they didn't want us to know. It ain't in this phone. Because I would have been ran to it by now. Might be able to pull it up on Google. I'm gonna post. Matter of fact, when I pull it up, I'm gonna make it my background picture. Them people said we their enemy. We never said they was our enemy. We got to believe them at some point that they are enemy because they said they was openly. And if they said they was our enemy, why are we doing all this ass kissing, go along to get along bullshit? And the only remedy is to educate ourselves above the condition. The conditions are based on your lack of knowledge. So your lack of knowledge is what keeps you trapped and bound in this web of deceit, deception, sorcery, fraud, and trickery and illusion. Everything around you is made out of atoms. I mean, everything is vibrating, even if it don't look like it, or else it wouldn't be here. It got to be made up of atoms, or else it wouldn't be here. How do they get the atoms to take these forms? It's God science. Because if you're going to be a God, you need to know some God shit. The Higgs boson is called the God particle. That's something you need to know about if you're a God. But if you're a mortal, you shouldn't even care about God shit because there's nothing you can do. You can't do no God shit because you're mortal. But if you're an immortal God masquerading as a mortal human, then you can do some God shit. Now, I don't know what I am. I think I'm just a regular dude, but I'm telling you this. Don't come telling me you know goddamn God and you ain't did no God shit yet. So if you don't know what gods do, maybe you should find out. What do gods do that people don't do, right? Then what kind of God are you? Are you a ruler God? Are you a creator God? If you're a man and you tell me you're a creator God, I'm going to call you a crossdresser. If you're a woman, you tell me you're a ruler God, you're a drag king. The roles were given as gender responsibilities for the caretakers of Earth to be effective in taking care of Earth, right? And the creator gods is the portal of life that bring new life into this old rotten ass world so we can figure out through raising competent children how to clean this rotten mother up. And one of the things that we got to do is respect the divine feminine so we can raise more divine masculines. And the divine masculines have to protect the divine feminine, so it might want to make more women want to be divinely feminine. And all of these strategies of divide and conquer, skin color, hair texture, big lips, little lips. Look, we got more hatred in skin color within the melanated community than we do across racial lines. My family had a whole dark skin, light skin feud going on for long before I was born. My mama said, baby, that ain't got nothing to do with you. You ain't got no business participating in that bullshit. And I said, yes, ma'am. So I never seen my light-skinned uncle was better than my dark-skinned uncle, or my dark-skinned uncle better than my light-skinned. My mama didn't play that shit. She said, you can't break the curse when you keep repeating the curse. And the only way to break the curse is stop doing that dumbass shit. And a lot of us is repetitiously participating in doing some dumb shit. We can't help it because we are in a system that taught us how to be dumb and how dumb people supposed to act. They gave us the description and say, y'all dumb, and this how y'all supposed to act if y'all dumb. And we were so goddamn smart We understood the concept so well that we outdid everybody in doing dumb shit. Because you have to have a certain level of intelligence for somebody to teach you how to pretend to be dumber than you actually is effectively. Otherwise, your intelligence is going to override your stupidity to the point where motherfuckers are going to be saying, look at that motherfucker faking. He ain't dumb as you. So in order for you to get people to consistently believe you a goddamn befuddling idiot, right? You have to be so smart that you know how to play the role of a goddamn befuddling idiot so well, nobody don't question it. You know? Just let that sink in. And with that, peace and hair grease. Time to go eat.